Is this on? Yes, it's on. Okay, I'm going to not forget to hit record on this sound again. Anyway, hi. I was just going to run through the garden box because I haven't done a very detailed video on it and I've been making a lot of progress with it, so I just wanted to show it off a little bit. First off, the panel actually sits down here in the bottom of your screen. There's this little button right here, and you can click to turn it on and off. And if you don't like the button sitting down here, if it clashes another agent, you can actually double right click it. Double right click is the key, because if you just right click it, it's not going to do anything. And you can move it, you know, wherever you want. And it's still going to bring the garden box up down here, but the button will be safe to move wherever. Anyway, so first off, let me explain that this is an agent injector. This isn't like a giant vendor. All these things down here, all these little critters are actually agents in your My Agents folder. Now, they're not the same as the agents in your agent injector, and these agents aren't going to show up in your agent injector, and your other agents aren't going to show up here. It's kind of like, you know how you put your egg files and your breed files in your My Agents folder, but they only show up in the egg layer? Well, it's the same thing. I mean, you're going to put your garden box agents in your My Agents folder, but they're only going to show up in the garden box. So hopefully that clears things up. But this is an agent injector, meaning that anybody can write their own garden box compatible agents for it, and it'll be pretty expandable. So the stuff you see here is definitely not what it's limited to. And that said, most of the stuff in here isn't even working entirely right now. Half of it's just for show. But anyway, so I've kind of got a lot of the C3 things put in here for right now, just kind of copy-pasted some code so that you have at least something to mess with right now. You have some butterflies, we'll add in some bees. This is the crosshair, by the way. When you select an agent, this crosshair will appear on your screen, and you can basically move it wherever you want to move it. So, you know, if you wanted to, let's put a fish here, it's gonna die. That's not even gonna hatch, it's an egg. Anyway, just like an agent injector, there's these little, you can scroll through it with these arrows, and there's all kinds of stuff here right now. There's a standard pinky plant, there's all these little things from C3DS. The nests are something I'm kind of working out right now, because creatures like the robin need nests to breed and lay their eggs in. So when you inject it, all you get is this red looking thing, and you kind of have to set it down, and it'll slowly fade from being red. If you pick it up again before it's fully faded, it's going to turn red again. But once you set it down and leave it be and let it fade, then it's going to disappear, and these robins will appear. But the robins will end up gathering nesting materials and going back to the same spot to build their nests. So that's kind of the way I've handled nesting sites, since they were hard-coded in C3. Anyway, so basically it's a standard agent injector. You can inject stuff by clicking on the crosshair, or you can inject stuff by clicking the little green inject button. It's up to you. The crosshair moves with the screen, so you're not going to lose it. If for some reason you do lose it, you can open or close the box and open it again. It's going to appear in the center of your screen. So the remove button is down here. Say we want to get rid of the bees. It's kind of a little bit quirky. If you click the remove button, it's going to tell you to hold down shift. And that's so you don't go to close the garden box and accidentally hit remove. So you do have to hold down shift for the remove to actually work. Now you can change that. Over here in this little yellow button is an options menu. And there's only one option right now. That's definitely expandable. But that's all we have right now. So you can turn off the requiring shift clicking if you want to just be able to shift, if you just want to be able to click it. That's kind of made for Mac users in mind, because none of the keyboard, shift click, control clicks will work on Mac's Exodus, which is really frustrating. But, anyway. The other thing is you'll see right here that all these things have categories. You know, this is a land animal, this is an aquatic animal, this is a traditional plant. This little blue button is a filter button, and it'll filter you through. Like right now it's only showing the patch plants, right now it's only showing the traditional plants. and land animals, aquatic plants, and so on and so forth. And eventually it'll take you back to no category. So it's kind of useful if you just want to like look at the fish because you're setting up an aquatic area or what have you. So that's essentially the basics of the garden box. Now there's two really special specific things about the garden box that make it more than, you know, just a fancy, simple to use agent injector. First is support for patch plants, which I know I showed this in the first video and it raised a lot of questions, so I'm just gonna go over that real quick. Patch plants, let's filter to the patch plants, are basically plants that you can plant into the wall. I know it's like kind of sounding weird, but say we like move up here to where this nice little tree is, and we want this tree to start growing, make it start growing apples. So when you inject it, you're going to get this little apple hanging onto your hand, and that's just an indicator to show you that you're in a planting mode. Then you click once, and it'll start creating a little box. And if you try to make the box go over like a room boundary, it's going to turn red, so you can't plant it there. So you kind of just want to select an area where you want the fruit to grow. So we're going to make them grow in the branches of this tree, because that makes some sense. It's going to ask you to confirm that this is the right area. And then you get your options. To go through these really quick, density is basically how tightly packed they are together. 100% density means they're going to grow as tightly packed together as the game will allow. And then it just gets further and further from that. So density about 50% will be about half as tight as they're allowed to pack. 50% is pretty average, I think. But it's going to depend. If you're growing a lot of like little tiny berries, you might not want to pack together so tight. And if you're growing a bunch of really big plants, it's just going to depend on how you use it. So growth rate, this is measured in tick. So as you guys probably know, the game runs at about 30 ticks a second, I think. So if you have, you know, if your growth rate is 30 to 60, that's basically going to mean every 1 to 2 seconds. Is when they're going to basically grow, advance to the next life stage, and you'll see that in a minute, how they will sort of grow and bloom and stuff. So we're going to set this to 30 to 60, because if we set it at, you know, a more normal growth rate, it's going to take forever, and we're going to be sitting here watching them forever. Growing seasons are all turned on by default, but if for some reason you only want your plants to spawn or grow in spring or summer, or if you want to make it seasonal to play with migrations and whatnot, you know, that's just some other options that you have. So you click confirm, and you can kind of watch and see how these little tiny green buds are starting to form, and then these flowers start growing out. And after the flowers get fully grown, they're going to shrink back again and turn into apples. So again, we set this at a really low growth rate, so they're growing pretty fast. But so you have an apple, yay! And these will eventually grow and fall off the tree. So that's basically what patch plants are. Is it's basically you have a plant, you plant it into the wall, it grows, it never stops growing. If you ever need to change it, you can use Magic Word's patch options, which is going to basically highlight the areas on your screen which are patches. You just mouse over it and it turns green and click it, and you'll get to bring up the options again. So let's say we want to make these all grow really fast. And, well, they're not going to grow because right now it's at the max density. So, but if we pull some off the tree, you're going to see, yeah, see how fast these are growing. Anyway, there's also patch plants for mushrooms and carrots right now, which are ground patches. So let's say you want the incubator of hand to be a patch plant. So I'm going to just draw a little patch right here, and we'll set it to something pretty quick and confirm it. And now basically the seeds are going to appear in this little box where the box was and fall down. So you can just draw it anywhere just above the area on the ground that you want them to start growing. And then you'll have some carrots. The last thing I want to show you is the decoration system. Now this is really complicated. I mean, it's not really all that complicated, but I put a whole lot of work into this. maybe more than I had to, considering I don't even know how popular of a feature this is. But decorations are basically just decorations. They don't do anything. The creatures can't even see them. They just sit around and look awesome. So when you inject a decoration, it's going to have this little outline about it, and this little panel is going to come up over here. And this is your decoration control panel. If you click on one of these, it's going to turn green, and you'll be able to, then it's selected. And so you'll be able to go over here and utilize the functions. Like right now, this is the plane. So I'm going to go ahead and inject, say, a giant pillar over here. And you'll be able to see that right now the volcano is behind the pillar, but if we bring the plane up on the volcano, it's going to come in front of the pillar. And these arrows go up and down in increments of 200, but you can also click the text box themselves and change it to, like, you know, 1 billion or whatever you want to do. I wouldn't actually recommend you change it to 1 billion, but anyway. There's also this line, if you want to turn off the outlines, you can do that. You'll still be able to move them around. You'll still be able to select them, but you won't be able to see the outline around them. So, this is agent help, but I'll get into that in a second, actually. I'm gonna get out these, planks down here. These are one of my favorites. They're just these little wooden walkway-looking planks. And I'm gonna bring them up to the front a little more. But, see, these 4 things here are basically little buttons. And this depends on what the coder wants to code into the decoration agent. Generally, decoration agents do nothing. They're pretty, they sit there, they provide scenery. You can basically use them to customize the world in any pretty little fashion that you want. But if you want to, you can program in some special actions. So right now I gave this one special action, and that'll make this button light up. And when you click it, it alternates between 2 different bridge forms. So I basically do this because I don't want to make, you know, 6 different bridges and have 6 different, you know, things down here taking up space. I think this wood railing has like 3 different forms it can go with, yeah. So, you know, so just to make things easier is what those actions are for. I'm not sure what else I'll use them for, but I wanted to leave that capability in, you know, just for future expansion. The help button is actually the same thing as pushing F1 and right-clicking it. I put it right here because I figure if someone's going to write in special actions, they're going to put, you know, what it actually does in the help file. So that's just for easy access kind of thing. One more thing. Let me find it. I'm going to, things like these bridges are the kind of things that you kind of want to link together almost. And sometimes it's just, like, really hard to, like, perfectly position it the way you want it. So in cases like that, I have nudge mode, which is basically you click this and turn it on, and it'll make your arrow keys, basically it'll lock on to the thing. Oh, I got the volcano selected instead. It'll lock on to that agent, and you'll be moving it with your arrow keys pixel by pixel, so you can use it to get things lined up just the way you want them. And then you can turn nudge mode off, and your arrow keys will go back to the normal functionality again. The last thing is the delete button. And don't mix up these 2. But this will delete your selected decoration. So you want to turn lines back on so you can see which one is selected, because you can't always tell. And delete. We got rid of the volcano. Select this pillar. Delete it. Select this. Delete it. You know, whatever you want to do. And then when you're done decorating, and you don't want to mess with it anymore, all you have to do is click this Lock Decorations button, and it'll put the panel away, it'll make your decorations completely unmovable, so you won't be able to accidentally mess them up. And of course this is a very stupid place for a bridge platform, but you get my point. If you want to bring your decorations panel back up, you can either inject a new agent and it'll come back up automatically, or you can just write magic words again. Deco mode will bring it back up too. So, I'm hoping that I'll get in more decorations and stuff. Because right now there's not a huge selection, but my eventual goal is if we get a whole ton of decorations, that eventually you'll just be able to completely transform a room from what it was into something completely different and completely your own thing. And I think that'll be a lot of fun. Just one more thing before I go. A few people, more than a few people, have said, okay, this looks great, this looks very finished, why isn't it released yet? And I kind of made mention of this earlier, but the reason it's not released yet is because a lot of these agents aren't working properly yet. The garden box itself is working pretty well, as you can see, but a lot of these little agents will bug out. They don't have any sense of population control. A lot of these are honestly just code copy-pasted from Creatures 3 Coast files. And so, before I get this released out there, I want to at least have a handful of pretty solid, stable plants and animals that aren't going to crash, that aren't going to die out, that aren't going to go looking for food sources that aren't there. One example of this, as you might have seen earlier, is the gnarlers, which I've modified so that they eat toys instead of eating rocks. So, well, they eat rocks too, but they'll eat anything classified as toy. So, that's basically the status on things. And hopefully sometime later on I'll have something more to show you guys. But for right now, this is the garden box, and this is where it's going. And gnarlers are really freaking cute. Oh my god, it just died. Okay, and I need to fix that. See, this is what I'm saying, is these agents are really unstable. Alright. Well, till next time, guys.